And welcome back to Rock It Right. I am Hurricane Betsy Barnes here with Dr. K. Solar, and we are celebrating Pete Ranzino, the founder of Learning Sciences Corporation, who made the Inc. 5000 list, number 535. So here's to you.
That's pretty high up on that 5,000. I'm going to say cheers, cheers. That's
right.
awesome.
Highest ranking in all of Louisiana. There were many companies that made it, but Pete was number one. And so we're really glad that you could come in because it is kind of fascinating what you do. Wow. So I know what you do, but Kay doesn't know what you do.
So you need to fascinate me.
Fascinate
like
Kay.
I am totally unknowledgeable, although Betsy has filled me in.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see if I can
But,
fill
you
in
know,
the
our
gaps.
listeners may not know. So
yeah,
we want you to, explain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have a company called Learning Sciences, as Betsy said, and we're a learning and development company. And what our job is to do is to go into companies, because we're primarily corporate, work in corporate learning. Our job is to go into companies once they establish their need, they have a learning need. And our job is to go in and help to take that information, run it through and turn it into a purposeful learning event. And then in doing so, what we do is we actually take that information, we push it into a web-based environment. So people are all, they're learning online is what they're doing.
Okay. So what are some of those examples of companies go, you know what, we need this, and then you take it and you put it into that web-based learning. What are some of the things that people are coming to you for, companies are coming to you for, especially at this time? Is it different since COVID?
Actually, yeah, there were some differences with COVID. COVID has had some impact, obviously, across the nation with all different type of corporations, right? Mm-hmm. Especially within our client base. Our client base is typically very large companies, and the reason that they come to us is, one, for our expertise in what we do in learning and development, but two, what we're able to do is we're able to distribute the same message, so everybody hears the same thing at the same time, mm-hmm. but we're able to do that with a global reach. So we can train 20,000 people at a time.
Right.
And so that's the purpose.
And
of
a
being
lot of
efficient.
those companies may have been having, even though it's been web-based, but they probably need that more than ever because a lot of their people have not been coming into the workplace. They've been working for home or remote.
Exactly.
So even more impactful and important to have something like that.
Exactly. Well, with COVID, the workforce that's out there has been scattered.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's imbalanced right now. So you've got all kind of different hybrid work approaches that are happening. That we're seeing, and then what we have to do is the learning still needs to take place. That organizational development still needs to continue. So we're having to come up with different approaches that help organizations meet that dispersed workforce now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's really important to know is that Peter's company already has 100,000 people a week on web-based training programs.
That's crazy numbers.
That's crazy numbers. Out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, guy from Port Allen. Born and raised here, and he has a reach like you would not believe regarding the way that people are assessed in their
mm-hmm.
skill level, the way that they are management ready or not,
right.
and then moving them up to the next level, which is what I find fascinating.
Right.
That is really fascinating. So, okay, listen to some of these clients. This is impressive for a Louisiana-owned company. Go ahead.
We primarily work in three primary areas. The first, that is our largest, is entertainment and news gathering. We work for Fox News Group. We work for NBC Universal. Work for Disney and all of their affiliates.
Those are some big people.
Yeah, so ABC News, even down to Lucasfilms, and we even work for General Hospital, the soap opera. So they're a client as well. So it's all full media and in a lot of news information gathering. Some of our proudest work, to be honest with you, is we work for the Olympic Committee and for NBC Sports. And so what we do is we build all of the courses and the orientations that the broadcasters have to go through before they're actually even allowed to go to the Olympics.
Wow.
And so we're working on the China Olympics now, and Japan, and just a whole bunch of other different type of, and other ones are coming. So that's kind of exciting stuff.
And then another area of expertise or another industry is the petrochem and energy sector, which you would think would not go with news and entertainment, but They have large numbers of employees
do.
at different levels of skill
Right.
spread out all over the United States.
Exactly. So, when you really look at our business, there's three main things that we really are good at. First is regulatory compliance. So we help companies meet their regulatory compliance. That could be anything from environmental safety and health. It could be employment law. It could be internal requirements. But bottom line, at the end of the day, that employee needs to know X, Y, Z. And then we need to document that employee knows X, Y, Z. So we're very good at regulatory compliance, and that's what our systems are set up. So not only do you have the learning in the learning environment, but we also have management systems that we've built that track performance and progress. So we can tell you who's doing what, when they're doing it, how well they're doing. And in doing so, what we're also able to do is identify folks that may be having a little bit of a problem understanding. And so we're able to identify those folks, and they're able to pull them out and actually spend extra time with them. And then we're also able to identify different competency levels that actually help the employee grow their career further within the company, because you're being able to identify certain benefits that that particular employee may have. And so when you kind of look at it, regulatory compliance is one. We do a lot of onboarding, and onboarding is we're preparing the employee before he even gets to the job. That's our job, is to accelerate what they're going to do when they get there so that they hit the ground running. When they get there, they understand the business model, they understand what their job is, they understand what they're supposed to be doing. And so when they get to day one, they're not lost. They
Right.
totally are there. And so that's another area that we're really good at. Another thing is procedures. They come out with new policies, new procedures, whether that's production related or just organizational related. Our job is to get that employee base all on board at the same time and understanding what those new procedures are and how to act that. And that can be anything from workforce skill sets to just soft skills. It's a wide variety. We're a custom shop, so our job is to help people do what they do better. That's our job. And so we're purely custom. We don't have one particular thing that we do. We just have a particular, what we've been able to do is to design a system where we can fairly quickly go from concept to deliverable in a very short period of time, and be able to document all the different things that need to be documented for that company.
And you've also done quite a bit of business with the state of Louisiana, with LSU, with different
Right.
municipalities, and with law
Correct.
enforcement.
Yes. One of our largest clients within Louisiana is law enforcement. So we do a lot of continuing education for law enforcement through the Commission of Law Enforcement. So we do that. We work with a variety of different agencies, from Children and Family Services to DHH to the District Attorneys Association.
Yes.
It's all in about.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
I'm going to say, this is a lot of work all over the place. You must have 1 million people that work for you.
Not really. I mean, what I have is.
It sounds like it to get all that done.
I try and keep that down.
I figure,
That's the largest check you write at the end of the month.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
What I will tell you is that with all the things that Betsy talked about, and being 535 and all these different numbers that we've received and accolades, at the end of the day, it's really not about me. It's really about my folks. I've got a really good staff, and they do a really, really good job at what they do. They're fast at what they do. Everyone in our company has from 5 to a decade plus years experience in doing what we do.
Yeah.
And so what we're able to do is move things fast. We're able to take on a lot of projects at one time. We're able to separate those projects out and deliver on promise. And that's really our goal, is to deliver on promise. So.
One of the things that I just found fascinating about your story, and his story is in the Inc. 5000 magazine and the list, and then there's a profile in the winter edition of Inc. 5000. But we only have about a minute and a half left, but I wanted to tell you that one of the things I thought was fascinating is that instead of you trying to go find investors to start your company like so many young entrepreneurs do now, you had 3 things. You had a card table, a folding chair, and a telephone.
And
so
how it started.
you got on the phone and you found a client.
Yeah.
And that's how you started your first business.
A lot of young entrepreneurs, and I've been at this for a while. My first company I started was in the mid-'90s, and in the same business sector. And I was one of those guys at one time, man. I was chasing money. I figured if I raised money, I could build a business. And then it dawned on me that I really didn't raise money. What I really needed to have was a client. If I had a client, that was my money, but it was also my proof of concept. And so that's where things changed. And so I started what I call smiling and dialing. And I landed, a really large insurance broker, was my very, very first client, who turned out to be the same company that bought my intellectual property that I had built. And so that springboarded me to the next level. But, for anybody that's listening that might be entrepreneur late, it's really more about go find a client. Stop chasing money. Go get a client.
Good advice.
Great advice. Yeah, for sure.
Good advice from Pete Ranzino, the founder and owner of Learning Sciences Corporation. If you want to see more about Pete, we'll share the links on our Facebook for Rocket Right Entertainment. And we're going to be right back with one of our musical favorites, and that would be Mr. Chris LeBlanc, talking about some of the good times coming up with some music and entertainment all around Louisiana. Hang with us. We'll be right back.